What's up, guys? Today we're looking at the iPhone 15 Pro. I've had it since mid-October and was able to test it extensively, have my everyday experiences with it, and show you in this video how good this iPhone is. The most important features include the action button, a new titanium frame, the USB-C port, and slight improvements to the camera. When we unbox the device, the iPhone is the first thing we come across, and underneath it is the charging cable, a few warranty instructions, and the needle for the SIM card compartment. Let's start with the design. Basically almost nothing has changed visually, but that's not a bad thing because I personally like it quite a bit. Here we have flat edges again, and the screen is flat right into the corners. For the first time in an iPhone, the frame is made of robust titanium. This has a matte look and feels soft and comfortable in the hand. This not only makes the 15 Pro 20 grams lighter than its predecessor, the 14 Pro, but also has the advantage that fingerprints are almost impossible to see. The 14 Pro has a shiny stainless steel frame, which looks very nice, but as soon as you pick it up it's full of fingerprints again. 20 grams lighter doesn't sound like much, but you'll definitely notice the difference. At 187 grams, the 15 Pro is not too heavy and not too light in the hand. More pleasant than the 14 Pro. In addition, the workmanship is also very good. It's really solidly made and feels great, and the titanium frame is really well made. Another reason why the 15 Pro feels so good in the hand is that the edges are no longer as sharp as its predecessor, but rather slightly rounded. Visually, it's really only an extremely subtle difference, but I can only repeat it again. You'll definitely notice the difference when you hold the 15 Pro in your hand. It may also be a matter of taste whether you like the sharp edges better or the edges have a slight curve. If I hadn't told you, you probably wouldn't have noticed the difference. But ergonomically speaking, it's really a blessing. I think most people will really like the feel of the iPhone 15 Pro. On the right side is the standby button, and on the left as usual are the volume buttons. Above that is the new action button, which has replaced the silent switch. We also have a change on the bottom. The Lightning port is gone and has been switched to USB-C at the insistence of the EU. And then there are the microphones and stereo speakers installed. First, let's talk about the new action button. You may already know this from the Apple Watch Ultra and the Ultra 2, which also has this new button. It allows you to make certain commands or apps by pressing on them. You will receive instructions for this new function when you switch on and set up the 15 Pro for the first time. But you can also set it up or change it later in the settings. Under Settings there is a menu item called Action Button, which allows you to assign the function you would like to the button. Let's take the camera function as an example. The button is configured in such a way that you don't just press it briefly but hold it pressed for about a second and then the camera opens. If I just press it briefly here, you'll see that it tells you that you should keep the button pressed. The reason is probably simply that if you press the button accidentally, the function should not be carried out every time. By pressing it longer, the iPhone knows that you were at least consciously pressing the button. Now let's move on to the USB-C port. People have wanted this for a long time and now it's here. If you own other Apple devices or devices from other manufacturers that have a USB-C port, you are finally no longer forced to always have a Lightning cable with you. You can also charge the Apple Watch and AirPods with the iPhone, which is pretty handy if there's no power outlet available. The data transfer speed on the 15 Pro supports a maximum transfer of up to 10 gigabits per second. But you need the Thunderbolt USB-C cable for this. So the USB-C cable with the Lightning on it. The USB-C cable that comes with the iPhone already supports data transfer, but not at this high speed. The camera has only improved very slightly compared to its predecessor. Actually hardly worth mentioning. The iPhone 15 Pro has 3 lenses, each with a 48 megapixels main camera, a 12MP ultra-wide angle and another 12 megapixels telephoto lens. Now I don't want to fill you with technical details and cool-sounding marketing words, but instead I would just like to show you what it all looks like in practice or in everyday life. Here are some images in daylight. Under all the zoom options. By default, the camera uses the 48 megapixel data and packs it into a 24 megapixel final image that looks very good and is very detailed. The colors and contrasts are presented very realistically and true to the original and are not distorted in any way. The same applies to the ultra-wide angle in good lighting conditions, and also to the other zoom options. When it gets darker, the 15 Pro also makes a fine figure. Especially the main camera at 24mm at the first zoom level. At the second zoom level, the images are still very good. But then from the third level on you can see a tiny little bit of noise, but it's still good. And if you zoom in to the maximum, then the image unfortunately looks very noisy. In the ultra-wide angle, images in the dark still look good, but I think there is still room for improvement. The telephoto lens allows you to take photos details with high resolution from a greater distance, and the macro mode allows you to get very close to the smallest objects without them losing focus. The iPhone automatically changes the lens when you get closer to an object. This is particularly advantageous if, for example, you want to photograph insects or flowers very close and still not lose sharpness and focus. Photos in portrait mode look really good in my opinion. You can edit the image further afterwards if you want, for example to increase, decrease or completely switch off the depth effect of portrait mode. The portrait pictures also look good in the dark. By the way, you can choose between 3 different zoom levels, regardless of whether the lighting conditions are good or bad. What's also cool is that the iPhone recognizes a person, dog or cat in normal photo mode, and you can then convert it into a portrait photo afterwards. This is possible because the iPhone uses this recognition to save the depth effect, giving you the opportunity to convert a normal photo into a beautiful portrait. What you can now do in normal photo mode is that you can approach the image in very small steps in the first zoom level. Let's say I want to photograph this sweet gorilla, but I don't want the plants that are on the right and left. On the 2 it's too close for me. Here you simply tap on the 1 and you can then switch between the 24, 28 and 35mm lens. Alternatively, you can keep your finger on it to seamlessly switch between the zoom options. The 15 Pro can also record videos in 4K at a maximum of 60 fps and in cinema mode at a maximum of 4K 30 fps. When it comes to the battery, Apple specifies exactly the same battery life as the previous 14 Pro, and I can confirm that. In practice, it looks like I start with 100% in the morning. I still have almost 70% towards the afternoon and maybe 45% at the end of the day. At 45% I don't charge it right away because I don't think it's urgent. After all, 45% is still almost half. I just charge it at work if necessary. Of course it always depends on how often you use your iPhone and above all, how you use it. For apps that require a lot of computing memory or simply generally drain the battery, the iPhone may need to be charged early in the evening. But when it comes to the endurance of the battery, I'm definitely satisfied. You can also specify in the battery settings that the iPhone should only be charged to 80%. The purpose behind this is probably to prevent overcharging if the iPhone is on the charger for too long, similar to MacBooks. The 15 Pro has Apple's new A17 Pro chip, which is also the first 3nm chip in a smartphone. But what exactly does this mean for the normal user? Compared to the A16 chip in last year's 14 Pro, you won't notice any difference in performance on the 15 Pro for everyday tasks such as launching apps and switching between apps. Of course it's very fast and fluid, but to really show off the power of the A17 Pro chip and what also sets it apart from other Apple chips is that you can now play console-level games right on your iPhone. So if you're a big iPhone gamer, you'll definitely appreciate the extra power. You're unlikely to be blown away by its performance for everyday scrolling on social media, watching videos, or responding to emails. And if you have an iPhone from the last 3 to 4 years, you will also get all the new iOS 17 functions through the new software update. The prices of the iPhone 15 Pro start at €1,199 with 128 GB. If you want more memory, the price will increase accordingly. There are also storage sizes of 256 and 512 GB and 1 TB. The colors for this year are titanium black as I have it here, titanium natural, titanium white and titanium blue. And don't forget, like its predecessor the iPhone 15 Pro has crash detection, an always-on display and the dynamic island. The display edges are also thinner than on any other iPhone. My question to you would be which iPhone you are currently using and how satisfied you are with it. And if you have any questions, just write them in the comments below and I'll answer you. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video and if so, then give it a like to let me know. And if you want to stay tuned for more videos like this, then consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you in my next video.